What's going on, y'all? Jordan. Another episode of Lightning Latest. Got a busy slate today. A few things to talk about. The first thing I wanted to touch on, though, is this article published a few weeks ago in The Athletic, where one of their top writers, he's talking about the contract efficiency for each team, right? So, perfect example. We're going to start a little negative here, sorry. He rates Vasi's contract as a negative value, as it only has a positive value of 42.4%, because there's 3 years left on the deal, which if he gets back to, where he's historically been, that's not a lot of time, right? The $9 million, a little over $9 million a year, okay, yeah, that's pretty high, but Vasi's one of the best goalies in the game, if not still the best, right? Though Connor Hellebuyck would probably, disagree. But that's besides the point. But also, he's 31, right? So when this contract ends, he'll be 34. And then the question is, do you re-sign him? If so, for how long and for how much money? The key thing is we need to develop a goaltender behind him that's long-term. And, over the next few weeks, we'll get into that and we'll talk about what's coming up through the pipeline. But as of right now, 50-50. Anyways, good news is, though, he ranks the Lightning first, as we talk about, right? And the major reasons for this is only 5 players have a negative value, including Vasi and Johansson, his backup, a couple other pieces. But the contracts for Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov, Jake Guentzel, Anthony Cirelli, and Brandon Hagel are considered steals based on these projections. They're getting paid a little over $40 million collectively right now. But, his calculations show that they're worth $58 million. So it's a pretty big gap there. So, if we continue down this path, right, of smart team building and making sure that we're built around our stars, but we also have the supporting cast around them, should be pretty good. But we're going to go ahead and switch over to one of the guys we just talked about, right? Cooch. It's important to show just how, he's been undervalued, right? He's scored so much. He's done so well. It's been awesome to see. But, every year there's just somebody a little bit better that gets the heart in front of him. Like last year was Hellebuyck. It's just... McDavid's done it a couple times, so we'll talk about him later. But, it's just mind-boggling because all he does is score. All he does is, rack those assists up, the points. He is one of the most dangerous offensive weapons in this game today. And yet, somehow, he's still kind of undervalued, which is wild. So, you have to really consider what is it going to take for him to get that next step and win the Hart this year. Probably another insane offensive season. Maybe he's hoping that some of these other guys that have been on it, like Kaprizov, which we talked about the other day, and McDavid, and all of these other producing stars kind of take a step back. The odds of that are pretty slim, so Cooch is going to have to go kind of, pardon my French, a little apeshit. So, also, a deep Lightning playoff run won't hurt, if he can help lead this team deeper than we've been the last few years, that'd be great. That's kind of the goal. So we'll see what happens. I'm really intrigued to see if he can actually pull it off. I'd love to see him pull it off because he deserves to pull it off. He deserves to win the Hart. It's without a doubt. But, each year there's been somebody just a tad bit better, or done a tad something else that's taking votes away. So, I'd really love to see how Cooch responds this year. He's only got a couple years left on his deal, and then he could be gone. So, him winning a Hart in Bolt Blue is just fantastic. Meanwhile, we're going to move on again. Preseason's coming up, baby. Yes. It's about 6 weeks out. We're gonna play at the Hurricanes on September 22nd. It's gonna be great. We have a home and away against them, a home and away against the Preds, and then we're also going to close with 3 games against the Panthers. We got 2 at our house and 1 down at Sunrise. So, we're playing the 2 Eastern Conference Finals participants in the preseason. Should be a good indicator to see where we're at in regards to them, how we stack up. The Panthers have had our number the last couple of years on their way to winning back-to-back titles. We're not big fans of that. So, we want to see how the progression is going to move forward, right? How we're going to do with these matchups. I mean, obviously, we're probably not going to see too much in the first couple of games against Carolina and Nashville. It'll be nice to see Stammer again, as usual. Our former captain. Always wish him the best. But, it's going to be interesting to really see just how much these shifts and these lines are going to look come opening night against Ottawa in October. So I'm interested to see how we're going to do things and whether or not Coop has some unexpected changes for us. It'll be fun to really see how this offseason has helped progress the team. We brought back Calvis, and then we have those depth signings as well. One can make the argument that a couple more pieces are needed, but for now, it's good to see what we have and see what can be added, as the season progresses. So it'll be fun to watch some preseason hockey. I'm always going to have it on, whether we're recording here or we're covering the team for Clutch Points. There's going to be much stuff going on. So really excited for preseason to start up. Before we know it, the regular season will be here. It's already less than 2 months away. So, October 9th against the Senators. Gonna be a good one at home. But we have one more little fantasy idea to play off, bouncing off of what we talked about with Kaprizov yesterday, right? Oh man, and it's how Connor McDavid will look in Lightning Blue and White. It would be interesting because obviously it would probably take an NHL record contract to sign him, at least AAV wise. So that would be, how much would it be? It's obviously going to be more than Mitch Marner's $12 million this year, right? Especially if he stays healthy and does what he usually does. He's won 3 hard trophies. He's led Edmonton to the Stanley Cup final the past 2 years in a row. But the Panthers have been there, unfortunately. So, what would he be worth? How much would it take? But could you imagine a top line of him, Cooch, and Gunsel? I mean, good luck. Other teams will just have nightmares thinking about how to defend that, how to play that, how to win against it. Now, granted, there's going to be games where none of them will score, and that's okay. But the thing is all 3 are such strong offensive weapons that those second, third, fourth line guys will get nods. And then it would put Point in the middle of the second line. He'd easily be the top second line center in the league. What are we doing here, guys? Come on. It's having him in that spot would then push Surly down to the third line. We're talking about the depth of this team, how the third and fourth lines need to be built up and be stronger and better in order for us to get further into the postseason. And, man, could you imagine a line with McDavid and Kucherov and, what do you do? Who do you stop? Granted, it would be expensive. But, in the next couple of days, we're going to talk a little more about the cap and how it's going to be increasing over the next few years. So, the cap room could happen. We're also going to be talking about in the next few days as well the pending Lightning free agents of the upcoming year in 2026. So that'll also be a way to see how they can save money and do those kind of things moving forward. But man, and just, with those departures, right, there's potential to lose a few wingers, a few defensemen. McDonough's a name that could be gone. But, if we lost money there, will we gain money to bring in a player like McDavid or Kaprizov or some other targets we might talk about, such as Kyle Connor? It would really be interesting to see just how much this could affect the Bolts' plans moving forward. So, tomorrow, busy slate. There's going to be a lot going on, but I'm really excited to share more about this salary cap situation with you guys, if a Connor McDavid or Kirill Kaprizov would even be remotely feasible to be brought in on a new long-term deal. So, this is Jordan, the latest Lightning latest in the books, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.